You spent 2 hours prompting Midjourney for a game asset, got something beautiful but completely wrong, and now your deadline is gone. Leonardo was sitting there the whole time, free, with the exact controls you needed. Leonardo is built for controllable output, and Midjourney is built for raw aesthetic polish. So which one actually fits your workflow really depends on what you're making, and that answer might not be what you think. Test 1. Output quality. You've heard Midjourney's V6 is the gold standard for photorealism, and a lot of people just accept that without checking. Leonardo ships multiple models, Phoenix and Albedo among them, each tuned for different jobs, so the real question is whether Midjourney's polish actually holds up when you need more than one style. I looked at community consensus across both tools, and here's what came back. Midjourney V6 is consistently praised for photorealistic output and prompt understanding, especially for marketing and ad work. Leonardo's Phoenix is strong and fast, but it's not at the same level for pure photorealism. Where Leonardo pulls ahead is style range, game assets, concept art, multiple model options that Midjourney just doesn't give you. Midjourney takes output quality on the strength of V6 photorealism, and that puts the score at Midjourney 1, Leonardo 0. I'd expected Leonardo's multi-model setup to close the gap more than it did, but community reports are pretty clear that if you need a polished, photorealistic result for a campaign, Midjourney is the one. I know that quality call because I've spent way too many hours inside both of these tools figuring out exactly where each one breaks down. So drop a comment below if Midjourney's photorealism has ever pulled you away from a tool that actually fit your workflow better. Test 2. Generation speed. Alright, so you're iterating on a concept, running prompt after prompt trying to land on the right look, and your tool is sitting there on relax mode, burning minutes while you wait. That friction adds up fast when you're doing dozens of generations in a session, and when you're trying to ship today instead of tomorrow, slow iteration is a real cost. Watch what happens when you put these two side by side. Leonardo's Phoenix model is explicitly optimized for speed, and community reports call it lightning fast. Midjourney's generation time depends heavily on your plan and which mode you're in, so on relax mode it slows down noticeably, and fast mode uses priority GPU time that isn't always the default, which means for rapid iteration, Leonardo is the more predictable tool. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Leonardo takes generation speed, and that ties us up at 1 apiece. I didn't expect Midjourney's speed variance to be this plan dependent, but the relax mode slowdown is a real friction point that Leonardo's Phoenix just doesn't have. Test 3. Pricing and credits. So you want to try a new AI image tool before committing, which is totally reasonable, and then you hit Midjourney's page and find out the free trial is gone, and you're staring at a minimum monthly charge just to see if it fits your workflow, which is the friction point a lot of people run into, and it's worth knowing before you open your wallet. I pulled both pricing pages directly, and the gap is pretty clear. Leonardo gives you 150 free tokens every single day, no card required, so you can actually test it before paying anything. Midjourney removed its free trial and now requires a paid commitment to get started, and while the entry points are close, Leonardo at $12 a month versus Midjourney at $10, that free daily tier on Leonardo is a real structural advantage. Leonardo wins pricing, and that puts Leonardo ahead 2-1. The free daily tier is the decisive factor, and I expected Midjourney to at least have a trial option still, but it doesn't, and that barrier matters for anyone who wants to test before committing. So Leonardo is ahead, but style control and platform access are still on the table, and those two tests are where the decision actually gets made for a lot of workflows, because if Midjourney's consistency tools or platform flexibility are stronger than expected, the gap closes fast, so let's see what the data actually says. Test 4. Style control and consistency. Okay, so here's one a lot of people run into. You generate a character for a game or a brand, it looks great, and then the next generation comes back looking like a completely different person, and you're back to square one, tweaking seed values and image prompts, hoping the model cooperates, which is a real cost when you're building anything that needs visual continuity. I ran this one twice because the difference is more structured than I expected. Leonardo has dedicated tools built specifically for this. A character reference feature and a style consistency feature, both purpose-built for locking in a look across generations. Midjourney relies on parameters like seed and style, which are powerful but less direct and more unpredictable in practice, and that unpredictability can spark creative surprises. But it's a liability when consistency is the job. Leonardo takes style control, and that moves the score to 3 for Leonardo, 1 for Midjourney. Midjourney's parameter-based approach is flexible, but Leonardo's purpose-built consistency tools are a clearer solution when your workflow demands it, and that's a real ROI difference for anyone building visual systems. Test 5, platform availability and limits. Now, say you're a developer who wants to pipe AI image generation into your app, so you go looking for an API, and you find out Midjourney's API is limited and not a primary feature, which means you're either going through Discord or you're stuck, and that's a real blocker for anyone building on top of these tools, so it's worth knowing before you architect anything around it. Leonardo runs as a web app with full API access, which is confirmed in the official docs, while Midjourney is primarily Discord-based, and its API is restricted, and not a core part of the product. So for most users, that Discord workflow is just friction, and for developers, it's a hard stop. Leonardo's daily token limits are transparent and predictable, while Midjourney runs on GPU minutes that vary by plan and mode. Leonardo takes platform access, and the final score is Leonardo 4, Midjourney 1. Web app plus API versus Discord first is a structural gap, and the cost of being on the wrong side of it is a broken workflow. Alright, so where does Leonardo actually pull ahead? You get 150 free tokens every day so you can test without paying anything. Dedicated character reference and style consistency tools that Midjourney simply doesn't have. A proper web app and API instead of a Discord workaround. And multiple models covering game assets, concept art, and more, all in one place. Midjourney wins on raw aesthetic output. V6 is the community standard for photorealistic images, and if you're producing marketing assets or ad creative where Polish is the whole job, it's the stronger tool, and Midjourney's unpredictable prompt interpretation, which some people find frustrating, can actually surface creative directions you wouldn't have thought to ask for. If you need control, a free start, and a tool you can actually build on top of, pick Leonardo. If photorealistic marketing output is the only thing on your list, and you're okay with a paid commitment and Discord, Midjourney earns that price. One thing neither doc makes obvious, Midjourney's seed parameter, which is the closest thing it has to a consistency lock, isn't guaranteed to reproduce identical results across different aspect ratios or model versions. So if you change your canvas size mid-project, your seed-based consistency breaks silently, and you won't know until the outputs look completely different. If Midjourney is still on your shortlist, you'll want to see how it stacks up against another strong contender in the same space. Because I ran the same kind of breakdown for Ideogram versus Midjourney, and the quality call is a lot closer than you'd expect, so that video is up next.